This is the second lesson to 9-6 factoring trinomials of the type ax squared plus bx plus c. If you haven't seen the first one, you're not going to understand this lesson. So please watch the first video over before you see this one. This lesson here, for example, I believe it's example 2, is much more difficult than example 1. So, but it's the same concept. So I need you to remember the steps from the first video. It's going to be the same. Step 1 would be factor the first and last numbers, and then we're having step 2 is parentheses and the signs. Step 3 is guessing, and then step 4 would be checking. That would be the OI, which would be the outer and inner of the foil. And then step 5 is repeat steps 3 and 4 if your answer does not equal the middle. So again, like I said, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I'll take my time a little bit more on this one. Let's try example 2 and 3a. So we have 2 again. Step 1, we're going to factor like we did before. Let me get, there we go. So 1 and 7, first 7, and then factor 8, which would be 1 and 8, and 2 and 4. And then we do parentheses. This is where it gets a little bit more difficult. This time we have a minus sign as the second one. Second sign. So what we're going to do is we're going to put, because of this sign, you're going to have a plus and a minus sign. And that's what we're going to work off this time. So again, we're going to factor the first number. Thank goodness there's only one factors. There's 1 and 7, so we'll have 1x and 7x. Next we have to factor the 8. I'm not sure which number is going to go with what, but I'm going to try 2 and 4. And then we're going to do the, we just guessed, now we're going to check. I'm going to do 1 times negative 4. 1 times negative 4. And that would be negative 4x. And then 2 times 7x, which would be plus 14x. If I look, negative 4 plus 14 is 10x. Well, that does not get me my negative 26, so I'm going to cross that out because that will not work. So we guessed and we checked and it's wrong. So again, we have to do step 5 is repeat 3 and 4. So we start with our parentheses. And again, plus and minus. And then we have, I'm going to just stay with 1x and 7x. Just keep it that way. And I'm going to keep my 2 and 4, but I'm going to switch my 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Oh, wrong way. 4 and 2. 4 and 2. I have 1 times negative 2, which is negative 2x, and 4 times 7, which is positive 28x, and that gets me 26x. Well, I'm getting closer. I'm supposed to have a minus sign. So if you have just the opposite number, all you need to do is switch the signs. So what I'm going to do is now switch the signs. I'm not going to make up a new one. All I'm going to do is erase the plus and the minus and switch them to now it's minus and a plus. So now if you look, it would be positive 2 and negative 28. And that would make it a negative 26. And so here's your answer. Let's try it again. You have 1 and 5, and 1 and 3. Oh, this one makes it much easier because you have only one factor of each number. So we have a parenthesis and a parenthesis. The second sign again is a negative, so that means I have a plus and a minus. And again, I said 1 and D and 5D. I want to get near 15, so if I did 1 times 5, that would get me still 5, and 1 times 3 would get me, yeah, so that's not close enough. So I'm going to make it 3 and 1. And we can try it again. We go 1 times 1, which is negative 1D. And then 3 times 5, which is plus 15D. That is 14D. Again, it's close. It's the opposite. So all we need to switch around are the negatives and positives. So this is going to be a negative, and this is going to be a positive. See, you have 2 and 1, and 1 and 3, parentheses. We have a plus and a minus like we did before. We're going to put 2 in and in. I don't care which way you do it. You can do 1 in and 2 in. It does not matter to me. And then for 3, you have 3 and 1. And you have 2 times 1. Negative 1 is 2, negative 2 in. And then 3 times n, which is positive 3 n. That equals 1 n. And it's a positive 1 in here, so yes, this is your answer. Let's try D. D is has lots of different factors you can do. 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, 35, you have 1 and 35, and 7 and 5. Not much on 35. You have your sets of parentheses. This has a positive sign, and both signs are going to be the plus. So I can try, I'm going to try, well, 80. We need to get close to 80. So I might do 1 and 35 because that is pretty big. And I know if I do, I could try 1 and 20. So I'm going to try 1x and 20x and see if that works. So it would be 35x plus 20x equals 55x. Oh, it's not big enough. So I know it's not 20 and 1. And then this time I'm going to try 2 and 10. So I'm going to go 2x and 10x. And I'm still going to keep 1 and 35. So I have 2 times 35, which is 70x, and 1 times 10, which is 10x, and you add them together and you get 80x. And that is your middle, so that is your answer to this. Please try E through I, and I will give you the answer in a couple minutes. Please put me on pause. Here are the answers to E through F, E through I. And so look it over, put it on pause, make sure you get them all correct. There's another way of doing this, but I'm not going to teach it to you because that is more difficult. Learning a new concept in the middle of already a difficult concept. So maybe in class we can discuss them, but here is the answers to maybe D through I. I'm not sure where we stopped. Put it on pause. Talk to you later. Bye.